This is all your fault, you know.
I know.
You just had to go and like say the Giants are good.
I thought they were good. Okay. Like I don't know what I was thinking. Like it was, you know, it's been a long time. It's been a long time since they were good. And I really wanted to believe.
Yeah. What you were doing is you were doing what you always do. You just throw logic and reason out the window and you're like, fate.
No, but
Kismet.
Okay, yes, but
divine will.
In my defense, you couldn't find any real reason either.
I don't know. Like maybe this offense just decides to just go on a break every now and then.
Yeah, well.
Oh, let's all go out to the, I don't know. Let's go to the water slides. Let's all go to the biggest mall on the planet, or whatever it is they do. And they're like, but who's going to do the hitting? And they're like, oh, Elliot said he's got it. It's fine.
Yaz is all like, wait, maybe I should stay behind and help Elliot.
I mean, of course, Yaz is the Boy Scout when he realizes that everybody left Elliot holding the bag.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, crap, I got to go back.
Yeah.
And so he runs up and he shows up, just in the nick of time.
But believe me, I mean, as Sunday's game was ending, I was definitely feeling like it was my fault. I take full responsibility. I don't.
It was your fault.
I said they were good. I said they were good.
That'll teach you. Never say the Giants are good ever again.
No, I just, they're mediocre at best.
That's right. They're mediocre at best. And in fact, we're going to spend the rest of the episode saying why they're bad. And maybe, just maybe, that means they'll sweep the next series.
Okay. I like the reverse psychology thing. Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I could just earnestly say they're bad. But I could certainly try and trick the baseball gods for sure.
Good. I'm glad that you agree. Hey Bob, what do you think?
Welcome to Giant Cocktails, where the losses hurt, but the cocktails help. Here are your hosts, Ben and Matthew Henry.
Welcome to episode 291 of Giant Cocktails. Listeners, I'm going to admit to you, and this is probably not going to come as any surprise, that Matthew does most of the spelunking of stats to get these beginning of the show stats. And because he's in big trouble, and because I don't like his stat, I'm going to go off script here.
Okay.
Sorry. Matthew, did you know that in his 2 years with the San Francisco Giants, Donnell Nixon hit .291 for the Giants?
Donnell, man, that's a
name.
Yeah,
that's right.
I would say pretty much every listener on our podcast is like, who?
I was who? And you know what? He played on the 80-90.
Did he really?
Yeah. He played in 95 games and had 177 plate appearances, in which he hit .265 with a .606 OPS. So not good. But in 1988, he played in 59 games and he hit .346 with a .420 on base and a .385 slugging. He was, he was.
Yeah, he was. I remember that. Yeah, that's about all I remember about him was he was fast.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to tell you a list of players who are not named Hunter Strickland who did things that were .291 related.
Okay.
Kevin Mitchell, Barry Bonds, Willie Mays, Bob Brenly, Gregor Blanco, Jose Uribe, and Fred Snodgrass all hit .291 for the San Francisco Giants in separate seasons. And the first Willie Clark, hit .291 for the Giants in 1896.
So you're that anti-Hunter Strickland that you had to go searching for other stuff.
Yeah, I'm anti-Hunter Strickland. Yes. Look, honestly, okay, listeners, that Matthew scrounged up Hunter Strickland as having had a career .291 ERA with the San Francisco Giants.
And the only reason I put that there was because I thought that was like I was like, really? Like, I thought it was interesting. I thought we could have some discussion about in our minds, Hunter Strickland was a total pain in the ass, but yet he had a 2.91 ERA over 5 seasons. And I thought that was interesting, Ben. That's all.
Matthew, as my brother, you should know that you can be talented and also be a pain in the ass.
This is true. Thank you for that reminder.
As the Hunter Strickland of this show. Yeah, Hunter was actually pretty good for the Giants. He was very good for the Giants, but it's just sort of like, you get one playoff hero concussed to end his career because you don't like somebody, and it kind of puts a tarnish on your record.
Enough with the banter. Let's talk cocktails.
Oh, right. Yes, of course, Bob. Well, Bob, as you may know, today is Mother's Day. Bob, did you call your mother?
That would be no.
I'm not surprised, Bob. Not surprised.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Oh, Bob, today I am drinking a cocktail called Mama Osa's Magical Elixr. And yes, that is a Mother's Day cocktail, and I will tell you what is in it at the end of the episode.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Well, thank you for asking, Bob. That's very kind of you, since Ben didn't actually say that when you asked him.
Oh, God. Look, I don't do it every
yes,
single...
You do.
Okay, there was a whole nother... I could have... I'm sorry, Bob.
Bob, I'm drinking a Negroni. This is a penance drink for me wearing the Paul Goldschmitt St. Louis Cardinal jersey a couple of weeks ago, and Scott on Blue Sky called me out and said that it sounded like I needed to drink a Negroni. And folks, I need to make amends. So if you're new to this show or haven't, whenever we want to really punish ourselves, we pull out the Negroni. And honestly, we are on episode 291, and this is my first Negroni. Ben has had like 4 or 5 of them on the show, at least. And
nobody is surprised, Matthew. Nobody is surprised that I'm the one who has to be punished most of the time.
So that's what I'm drinking today, Bob. A Negroni.
And I will say this, it was a double Negroni, so he is paying penance for saying that the Giants were good and therefore jinxing them in the series against the Twins.
I wanted full-on penance. I poured a double, and I'm actually halfway through. Ben and I have been talking about what we were going to talk about before, and I've gone halfway through this. Each sip is just bitterness, and I want you to know that I'm fully embracing my penance.
Well, we will tell you what is in a Negroni, or remind you of the recipe of a Negroni, at the end of the episode. And anyway, today is Sunday, May 11th, Mother's Day, as we record this podcast. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And if you remember to call your mother yesterday, congratulations, and we're proud of you. If you didn't call your mother because you didn't want to, you know what? No judgment here. Like, look, not everybody has a great relationship with their mother, and I don't know why we have to shame people for that. Not all mothers are good at their jobs, right? Like, that doesn't mean that not everybody needs to be celebrated. That's why you come to listen to this show, right?
Wow. Okay. Happy Mother's Day, folks.
No, wait. Anyway, let's move on to something more uplifting. Your San Francisco Giants went 0-3. No, wait, let's go talk about bad mothers again. Yeah. I don't want to do this. To bring their record to 24-17. Which means they are now in 3rd place, kind of comfortably now, in the National League West. 3 games out of 1st place behind the Los Angeles Dodgers and 2 games behind the 2nd place San Diego Padres. But still a comfortable 3 games ahead of the Arizona D-Bags. And 16 and a half games of the Colorado Rockies. Wow. Did you know, Matthew, that just the day before the Rockies lost 21-0 to the Padres?
You texted me that, and then
yeah.
and I immediately said that's got to be nearing some kind of record, and it turns out I was right. It was just off the record for biggest margin of victory shutout win in MLB history.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. It's kind of surprised me that it wasn't the record, because this is the worst team to ever play baseball. This team is worse than the Cleveland Spiders. And
it's worse than the Chicago White Sox from 2024.
Oh, way worse. Way worse. And I don't know what it says about baseball that these two teams played in 2 seasons back to back, but like this is not good. This is not good. And what I found really humorous is that the general manager gave Bud Black a vote of confidence 1 day before the 21-0 loss, and then fired him the next day.
21-0 will do that to somebody.
I mean, that an organization has no idea what it's doing. This is completely lost. Just absolutely lost. Yeah, firing Bud Black. That's going to fix all your problems. But really, Matthew, we're just avoiding our own problems.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Twins series. Because, like, that's really the only thing that's happened since the last time that we had an episode. And it's not often this year that we've had to talk about 3 losses in a row. But we got to do it. So that's what we're going to do. And then in the second segment of our show today, we are going to talk about the fact that it's not early anymore. Which means that there are a few players who have not been performing up to snuff, and doing so for the first month, I think we could call that a slump. But you have to be turning it around by now. And that doesn't mean that your season stats are good, but that means that your stats as of late are good. And we're gonna take a closer look at a few players who might not be doing that. But before we do that, Matthew, we're going to talk about a few tidbits. First, Matthew, I want to talk a little bit about the state of Major League Baseball overall. We just talked about the Rockies, and that's not good. But there's one thing about an organization being bad on the field as opposed to an organization being bad off the field. And I feel like that there's a few organizations that have not been having good, well, I would say a few seasons, but really this season has been a magnification of how bad they are. Like, the Rays don't have a place to play, don't have a stadium for next year, it feels like, don't even know who their owners are going to be. And their situation is not even as bad as the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are just, I mean...
They fired their manager, Ben. That's going to fix everything.
Yeah, they fired their manager, and he was the guy that pulled up all of the bricks with people's names on it and just threw them away. He was the guy that
removed Roberto Clemente's name off the wall.
Yeah. He's the guy who pushed that kid out onto the field, right? Yeah, like that was all the manager's fault. No, I don't think anything that the Pirates do is going to save them until they sell the team. But Matthew, I want to talk about another team that should be sold. The A's. You and I were noticing that they're only half a game out of the playoffs. Yeah. What if the A's are a playoff team? Are they going to play in Sacramento?
Well, that was my question to you, right? I mean, like, how could they have a playoff game on national TV where they're only fitting in, 13,000 fans or something like that into a stadium? Is that what the MLB is going to do?
I think there would be ample room, Matthew, because they're not going to sell out. So it doesn't really matter. Like, there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room, even for a playoff game. Would that be a bad look for Major League Baseball? Yes. Yes, it would be. I heard that if they do make the playoffs, though, that's not what's going to happen.
Oh, well, what would happen?
I heard that the plan is that they're going to play at Oracle.
Really?
That's what that's what I heard. I don't remember what my source was, so I could be just totally making that up. But it does sound like a better idea than playing at what is it called? Sutter Health? I don't even know what it's called. The park in Sacramento. But then that brought up an interesting question. If that is what happens if the A's and the Giants play each other in the World Series?
Well, my question is, would the Giants have to switch to the visitors clubhouse if they're the visiting team in the World Series?
No, F those guys. you know what? If your vagabond owner is too much of an idiot to have a major league stadium for his team, then you pay the price. No. I just think it'd be weird that the Giants could play in a World Series in their own park where they're the visiting team. It's bizarro.
Weird.
But
very
anyway.
Weird. And shame on MLB for letting this happen. Like, I think this is, I mean, if this does happen, MLB deserves every bit of like shame that they can get. Maybe they need to drink a Negroni.
Maybe they do. Maybe they do, because I agree. What's going on with the Pirates, the A's, and the Rays, 3 teams like that all at the same time, that's a really, really bad look. It's a really, really bad look. I just, they need to get their stuff together. These billionaires need to figure out their lives.
Agreed.
All right. And that brings us, well, as you can tell, I'm just trying to avoid talking about the Twins series, Matthew.
It's so much fun to talk about it when they're winning.
Yeah.
And frankly, it'll be interesting to see what our downloads are like after this, because generally when the Giants do poorly, we don't get as many downloads, which I completely understand.
They have been dropping a little bit. And I think, honestly, that they've been dropping based on how well Jung-Hoo Lee is playing. Is really what I think is happening. But yeah, I mean, I think for those of you who are diehard Giant Cocktails listeners, it probably comes as a shock to you that some people don't listen to our show religiously and regularly, right? They don't get up at 10 a.m. and then start looking at their watch and getting mad at Ben for not publishing. They might not listen at all for a week or two. And usually when they do listen, it's after a victory. And, yeah, we have a feeling that there's a lot less of you listening today. It was not a good series, Matthew. It was not a good series. But that doesn't mean there weren't guys who didn't do good things. I mean, that doesn't mean there were no guys who did good things. That's what I'm trying to say.
Agreed.
There were, in fact, a lot of guys who did really well. But due to the fact that most of the offense decided to go to the Great American Mall or whatever the heck it's called so they could ride on the water slides, the team went 0-3. And should we talk about this from a game-by-game perspective?
No.
No?
No.
I mean... Okay.
I don't want to do that, because it's like, oh, we lost game 1. Oh, we lost game 2. Oh, we lost game 3. But real quickly, I have been to Mall of America. I think is what it's called.
Mall of America, right? Okay.
And it's not water slides. It's a roller coaster in the middle of the.
There's a roller
mall.
coaster in the middle of the mall.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's quite interesting. I would much rather be there than watching the Giants play the Twins.
Yeah. If you were a Major League Baseball player, Matthew, would you go ride the roller coaster, or would you show up and do your job?
I don't know. The roller coaster was pretty cool.
Oh, so you too might have pulled a Willie Adames or a Matt Chapman. I mean, Matt Chapman did show up for one at bat.
Yes.
I will say that. But seriously, I think the series entirely came down to the fact that our offense just disappeared. Right?
Can't blame it on the pitching. I mean, really.
No, you can't. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to point at Hicks's start and be like, oh, he gave up 3 runs in 6 innings, and that's not good enough. And it's like, okay, but like the Giants were getting perfect gamed by Jack Paddock, Bob Paddock, Scott Paddock.
Somebody named Paddock, and I actually spelled his name like 3 different times in different ways. Like a guy
who's like season ERA even after that game is like 4.50. You know, this was not a stellar ace they were facing. This wasn't the cream of the Twins rotation. This was yet another journeyman dominating this lineup, and it was just infuriating. You know, and I know that, like, okay, it would be nice if all of our starters threw, you know, shutouts, 7-inning shutouts every time. And it would be nice if Jordan Hicks could even just do that one time. But I don't think this was his fault. You know, it wasn't his fault.
No.
The fact of the matter is the Giants did very little other than Matt Chapman's home run. Like, this was a very anemic performance. And It was very deflating. It was very deflating after the Cubs series to have them come and do that. But then on Saturday, things got worse because Logan Webb comes out and he gives up 2 runs over 7 innings. And I could feel it. I could feel it during that game. Like, I knew what was going to happen. He was going to get webbed. He was getting webbed.
Yeah, maybe even Verlandered. I don't know. Like, pick your verb.
Right. So Logan Webb got webbed. But you know who was trying his best to help Logan Webb out?
Well, Heliot Ramos, for sure.
Heliot Ramos. Yeah. I mean, for most of this series, it was Heliot Ramos and whatever starting pitcher was on the mound versus the Twins. And I felt like, honestly, that was almost enough to almost win each of these games. Like, Heliot Ramos plus 1 starting pitcher was almost enough to beat the Twins. The problem is nobody else did anything.
Well, Logan Webb goes 2 runs over 7 innings, and when your rest of your team gets 4 hits, 4 base runners because there were no walks, you can't really expect to win. I just, and Logan got he got Logan Webbed for sure.
Yeah,
and
yeah. But I do want to, in defense of everybody else, and just to scratch an itch of somebody who might be thinking this, I do want to blame a certain someone for losing this game.
Who's that?
This was Heliot Ramos's fault.
Are you seriously going to blame him for getting picked off third?
Yeah. Saturday's game, Heliot Ramos got picked off of third base as the tying run, and therefore the Giants lost, and it's all his fault. That's my argument. I'm making it. Yes.
Oh, so your argument is that you are certain that whoever was batting behind Ramos that day was actually going to get a hit because they didn't.
Well, I think there was 2. Oh, you're right. There was only 1 out. There was 2 outs. I think there was going to be a wild pitch.
Okay.
That's what I think.
That's
Yes.
about the only way that he would have scored.
Yeah, I'm going to Joe Morgan logic here. There was going to be a wild pitch, Matthew, and because of that, the wild pitch never happened, and that's why the Giants lost. I'm also assuming that they were going to score 1 more run to win the game.
Okay. Well, I think that maybe it would have been a balk. Like, not a wild pitch.
Balk. A balk is also good. Yes, that is one of the 27,000
ways. Yeah, one of Joe
Yeah.
Morgan's ways of scoring from third that you can't score from second. Yes. Folks, if you're not old enough, Joe Morgan was a baseball announcer before, after he was a Hall of Fame baseball career, and he had this whole thing where, like, if you were on third base with 2 outs, that was way better because you could score. There were like 20 different ways you could score from third base that you couldn't score from second, or something like that. And so
I think it was somewhere between 20 and 25.
Yeah,
but I don't remember what it was. And that's why the Giants lost, is because the guy that I'm sure Twins fans think is the best player on the planet got picked off of third.
Diving for balls, hitting home runs.
I think the Minnesota Twins must be like, can we trade for this Ramos guy?
Right.
Like, we got a pretty good defensive outfield, but this guy also hits. Like, could we put him in right field maybe? Yeah. No, I just wanted to throw that out there because, he got picked off of third, and that was a bad situation to get picked off. And you can't get picked off in that situation.
Exactly. And he knows that, but I think you and I were like texting, you can't get picked off in that situation. I mean, you're down by a run, you're 90 feet away from tying it. You just can't let that happen, and he did.
Yeah. I mean, it was an aggressive play by the Twins. They could have thrown the ball away. It was risky, but like high risk, high reward. But yeah, you can't get picked off in that situation, but that's not why the Giants lost that game. Okay. It wasn't Heliot Ramos's fault that they lost that game. In fact, it was almost anybody else's fault that they lost that game than it was Elliott's. And then today, Matthew, your boy, Landon Roop, he pitched all right. He pitched okay.
He pitched okay. It wasn't even as good as Hicks's start. He gave up 3 runs in 5 innings of pitch, not 6. And they started out the broadcast saying that he led the majors in lowest hard hit rate, and I was like, Roop.
Well, Matthew, that's actually probably not a great thing if you have a substandard defense, which we learned last week they do. So, because like when you hit the ball soft, your fielders have to make the play. But then, and then Heliot Ramos just got even better. What was really frustrating about Sunday's game to me, though, was like the offense finally shows up. It finally scores enough runs. And then one of your rocks in the bullpen, right? This is just like the loss that they took to the Rockies. The Rockies' 6th win, which I would say was the Rockies' last win, but I think they won today. They win about every 9 days, those guys. Eric Miller, goes and lays an egg and just kind of erases what the Giants' offense has finally been able to produce in the series. And it's like, you can't point at Eric Miller and be like, he's been a problem. Like, man, I just wish he could pull it all together. It's like, it just comes out of the blue. And it's like, as a fan, it's just really frustrating because you're like, I want to blame somebody, but I ain't care. Who am I going to blame? Seriously, Matthew, who am I blaming? Oh, wait, that's right. No, I know who to blame.
Who's that?
It's you. It's your fault. Because you went out and said the Giants are good. And then you convinced me to go along with you. And then we that was the title of our last episode. It's okay to admit the Giants are good. And that's why this happened. That's why Eric Miller had a bad inning. This is your fault.
Yeah, I accept blame. I accept blame, but I also understand where you're coming from because, you expect a guy like Eric Miller to do the job, and he didn't get an out, Ben. I mean, he gave it 3 hits and a walk, and all of that. He gave up 2 runs, and his ERA only went up to 2.19. Like, I mean, just sometimes things like that happen over the course of a season.
I know. And you know who still loves him?
His mother.
His mother. That's right. And that's why they have a special day for those people.
That's right. Yeah. And he couldn't even have a pink bat because he didn't hit. Although they did give up their DH today. So maybe a pitcher was going to hit if we got lucky.
Yeah. If Ryan Walker hadn't have been just...
Yeah. Ryan Walker.
Just normal Ryan Walker. There's no closer controversy, though, Matthew.
No, because what did Duvall do?
Camilo? Yeah, Camilo was whatever. Camilo was Camilo. That's right. Camilo was Camilo.
No hits and a strikeout in his 1 inning. His ERA now is 1.45.
Yeah.
Which is roughly 4.5 times lower than Ryan Walker's.
I mean, he came in and he cleaned up Miller's mess.
Mm-hmm.
He came in with nobody out and the bases loaded. And then he got 2 ground outs, one of which was hit so softly that the Giants couldn't turn it into an inning-ending double play. I mean, Camilo has been nothing but a revelation since that one bad homestand that he had, which I think was like the first homestand of the season. Yeah, like Camilo has been vintage Camilo ever since then. But, there's no closer controversy.
No closer controversy.
Matthew, go ahead.
Is there a shortstop controversy? Because Willie Adames, we're still looking for him.
Yeah. I thought he was turning it around.
I did too, but then you look at the series, he went 1 for 13 with 7 strikeouts, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, it is almost time for us to move on to our second segment, but I do want to just quickly run down how all of the offensive players performed at the plate in this series. We are going to, let's start with Willie Adames. Willie Adames was 1 for 13 with no walks and 7 strikeouts, including a strikeout in today's game as we record this podcast, where it clearly looked, the count was full and he swung at a pitch that just looked like a guy who desperately wanted to be the hero, right? Instead of letting the next man up have his spot, he was trying to be the hero and he's waving at this ball that was not in the strike zone and not hittable. But, he wasn't the only one performing badly. Matt Chapman had an okay series when all so said and done. He was 3 for 10 with a home run and a walk, but had 4 strikeouts, and really, other than that one home run, didn't seem to factor in very much. Lamont Wade Jr., 1 for 9, 3 strikeouts.
0 for 9.
Sorry, 0 for 9 with 3 strikeouts.
There were only 6 players, Ben, that got a hit in the 3-game series. Only 6 players actually hit the ball in all 3 games, in any of the 3 games, for that matter.
I mean, Patrick Bailey, 0 for 7. Wilmer Flores, your boy, the hero, Mr. Superman. Wilmer wins, it says on his shirt. 0 for 7, 3 strikeouts. Luis Matos, he was coming out of it. He's hot. 0 for 4, 1 strikeout. Brett Wisely, ear to like take Fitzgerald's spot.
Brett Wisely is 0 for his season. He has yet to get a hit.
Ben is not surprised.
But he hit 2 home runs in spring training once.
Yeah. Sam Huff played in one game, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. David Villar with his 1 at-bat, 0 for 1. But he did have an RBI. He did eke that run in the top of the 10th.
He made contact. That's all he had to do.
He did. I mean, it was Mike Yastrzemski was 3 for 12 with 2 strikeouts even. Like, this was really all about one guy. Heliot Ramos, 6 for 8, 2 home runs, a walk, and 5 of the Giants' 8 RBIs.
Did not strike out at all.
Did not strike out at all. So good for Elliott, but like, come on, guys. Come on. Like, not just the offense just totally let this team down on this series. Like, and there's no excuse for it. There's no reason. It's not like they faced these amazing aces. They got embarrassed by rather pedestrian starting pitching. I mean, it wasn't pedestrian starting pitching. It was very, very good starting pitching, but it was from guys that shouldn't
have had a pedestrian season. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. All right, Matthew, it's time to move on.
Okay, please, let's move on.
To our next segment, It's Not Early Anymore. Matthew, as I said...
We're actually over 25% of the way through the season now.
That's right. It's not early anymore, folks. The season's a quarter of the way over. And so, like, we can't be talking about how it's early anymore. And so I think there's 3 people that we need to talk about. And I'm going to start with the biggest one in case it takes up the whole segment.
Oh, okay.
Because here's my thesis. My thesis is this. Like, it's okay to be in a slump to start the season. Like, slumps happen throughout the season, maybe at the beginning, maybe in the middle, maybe at the end. And they're always bad and nobody likes them. But they happen. They're a part of the sport. But at some point, you have to pull out of them because then it's not a slump anymore. Now you're just not good. And I feel like there is one player that I think maybe you and I haven't been talking about enough who is starting to fall into that category, and that is Lamont Wade Jr. Like, Lamont got off to a very, very bad start, and it did seem like he was starting to come out of it. But then he has virtually disappeared. And his season stats, Matthew, are now really, really bad. But first, let me tell you what his stats are for the last 7 days.
Okay.
He is hitting 167 with a 211 on-base percentage and a 222 slugging percentage for an OPS of 433.
Ooh.
In that same time, Heliot Ramos has an OPS of 1.510. So, like, more than 3 times better than Lamont Wade Jr. has been Heliot Ramos. So my question for you is, Matthew, is Lamont Wade Jr. like done? Like, is this it?
I'm going with your premise on it's not too, or it's you can't say it's too early.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no excusing he's batting. I'm looking at it for the season. He's batting $145. So those last 7 days were actually an improvement.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course they were, right? But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the improvement over the last 7 games, right? There's no way that you can't slice this any way to get Lamont Wade Jr.'s season stats to look good. There is no way to cut him, Matthew. Maybe if I picked his best, every game he got a hit in, and I just showed you those, maybe he would look all right.
Well, the part that really strikes me, and I've been watching his at-bats lately, is what you used to be able to count on with Lamont Wade Jr., and I'm not looking at stats right now. I'm just looking at watching his at-bats, is that he seemed to be able to control the strike zone. Like, he knew when a strike was a strike, and he knew when a ball was a ball, and he didn't swing at things that were out of the strike zone. And I see that a lot now. In fact, he has almost twice as many strikeouts as he does walks, which is very uncharacteristic of LaMonte Wade Jr. And I wish I could explain it. I don't know how this is happening or what the difference is, but man, it's been bad. And I think the only solution that I can think of is Heliot Encarnacion. Like and I know that he's not a left-hander and all that, but at some point you got to sit the guy down, right? I mean, I don't know. It's been hurting the team a lot.
Yeah, I don't think you can worry about splits at this point. Like, I mean, I bat right-handed. If I was a lefty, though, I don't think you'd be like, oh, okay, let's put Ben out there. And like, I know that LaMonte Wade Jr. is not that, but like, I mean, he's playing worse than replacement level. Like, and I think one of the reasons like I don't want to talk about it is I like him. I like him as a fan, and I want him to do well. But it's not early anymore. Like, that's the whole point of this segment. It's not early anymore. And it's not getting better. It's not improving. But I mean, you did say Heliot Encarnacion is the answer there. I don't know that that's an answer.
I think it's the only solution, though.
It is. There are no answers here. That's the problem. And that's what we talked about a couple episodes ago, or when we talked about depth, right? This team has no depth here. They could have done something here. They didn't do anything. The only depth they added was Jake Lamb.
Right. I mean, they could have gone after someone like Paul Goldschmitt, whose reason I'm drinking this damn Negroni right now. But
that's right.
But, there were options in the offseason, and they chose to stay pat. And we knew that first base was the weak link, I think, out of everything, or at least it was the one that had the most mobility. But they also want to keep a spot open for Bryce Eldridge. But Bryce Eldridge isn't coming this year.
Right. Well, they could have overpaid for Goldschmitt for 1 year.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. But
right. I mean, but I think that's what they would have had to do. They would have had to overpay. Right. And I think they just didn't want to. Right. I think there was a number that they had for every guy, and they just didn't want to pay that. But I don't know. Like, I don't know what happened, but this was a mess up. I mean, like, Buster Posey screwed up the depth. Buster Posey screwed up the depth of this team in the offseason. He did. And I think
he at least misread it. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Or didn't want to commit to anything beyond that.
Yeah, but I don't want to give him too much of a pass on this, because a lot of people saw this. A lot of lay people, a lot of pundits saw this, and pundits are usually idiots, right? A lot of people saw this who aren't even pros at this, and this was an obvious hole, and it didn't get filled, right? The same thing with our middle infield depth. Obvious hole, didn't get filled. But at the end of the day, Matthew, I think we both agree there's nothing to be done here. There are no good options. So we just have to keep hoping that LaMonte Wade gets better, or that whoever they decide to throw in there is just a little bit better. And it's probably going to be a right-hander.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The next guy on the list, who is, I think, a much more difficult question, Jordan Hicks, Matthew.
He's all right.
He's fine. He's fine.
He's okay.
He's okay.
He's okay. He's fine.
Okay. It's a fifth starter. Whatever. But here's the difference between our pitching and our offensive depth.
We actually have some pitching depth.
We have a lot of depth. So my question is he really a better option than both Hayden Birdsong and Kyle Harrison?
Let me think about this for a second. No! Every time I watch those guys go out, no, he's not. And it's a disservice to the Giants to pretend that he is. He's okay. But then you see Birdsong go out there and just mow down people.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't understand why we keep pretending that the rotation and is fine. And you know what? as I'm saying this, it wouldn't make a damn difference because the offense isn't producing enough. But you want to put your best players in the right position. And I think that's what you do as a baseball team. And right now we do not have our best players in the right position. And it's maddening. It's maddening. And it's all because, I mean, they talk about, oh, we made this promise. We didn't make the people who are in charge did not make this promise to Jordan Hicks. And I don't, the guy's been in the bullpen before. They're paying him a lot of money. He could just go make that money in the bullpen. Like, I don't see why we have to sit here and pretend that Hayden Birdsong is not better than Jordan Hicks.
I don't think anybody ever deserves to get a promise that they will be a starting pitcher, even though there are better options out there. Like, nobody should get that promise. And right now, I think there are 2 San Francisco Giants who have that promise, and it's not good. It's not good. You cannot have 2 guys in your rotation who simply have the job because people said so, even though there are better options. Like, this is too many people in this critical role who have the jobs because you want to be a stand-up guy. I'll give you one. I'll give you the future Hall of Famer. But this is not okay. Like, at a certain point, merit has to count for something. Ability has to overstep promises. All right. Well, Matthew, we're running out of time, so I'm just going to make this a lightning round question. Wait, Bob, do it.
It's time for a lightning round.
Okay, now, Matthew, should Ryan Walker be the closer?
No.
Agreed.
Ooh, that was a really good lightning round.
That was good. Yeah, it was
that was our best one ever.
That was the lightningest of lightning rounds. Yeah. All right. Okay. Coming up is our opponents, the I Don't Knows.
It's the
Matthew?
Arizona D-Bags.
Okay.
We are playing the D-Bags in Oracle starting on, I don't know, Monday? Tuesday? I don't know.
I think it's Monday.
No. I think it's Monday. On Monday. And so, yeah, now we're getting a little taste of the vaunted National League West. So I have no idea who the pitching matchups are yet, but last time I checked earlier today, it said TBD. But I think this is one of those series that will be a barometer. Where are the Giants? And when you're playing the National League West, I think you need to go.
Okay, Matthew. Look. Okay, it is tomorrow. And it's Justin Verlander versus
Corbin Burns.
Merrill Kelly.
Merrill Kelly. Oh, giant killer Merrill Kelly.
Against Justin Verlander. Merrill Kelly's going to throw a perfect game, and Justin Verlander's going to throw a one-hit.
A one-hitter. Yeah.
That's all. It's going to be a leadoff home run. It's going to be a leadoff home run, and then Justin Verlander's going to pitch a complete game from there, and Merrill Kelly's going to throw a perfect game, and that's what's going to happen.
All right. Well, Verlander's going to get his first win.
No?
Verlander's getting his first win. I'm calling it now.
Matthew, this is what you did last week, and look what happened.
Verlander's going to get pummeled, Ben.
There it is. Good. That's right. Right. The Giants are bad, therefore they will sweep.
Isn't it time for the booze, boys?
God, Bob, I hope so.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Oh, thank you for asking, Bob. That is very kind of you. See? I said it.
Good job.
Bob, today I'm drinking a cocktail I'm calling Mama Osa's Magic Elixr. And what is in Mama Osa's Magic Elixr? Well, Bob, it has 3 ounces of orange juice, 3 ounces of chilled sparkling white wine, and then a shot of vodka, or rum, or tequila, or whiskey, or brandy.
Whatever mama likes, whatever mama wants.
That's right. And that's what I'm drinking today, Bob. Mama Osa's Magic Elixr. And you know what? I'm going to change the name right now. Big Mama Osa's Magical Elixr.
Ooh, Big Mama. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, Big Mama Osa's.
Big Mama Osa.
That's a tasty cocktail. What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, I'm drinking a Negroni. And and I'll be honest, it was a double Negroni. I'm drunk. Because one thing this Negroni is boozy. It's boozy. What's in a Negroni? Well, in a typical Negroni, you get 1 ounce of gin, 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, and 1 ounce of that dreaded Campari. You put all those into a mixing glass with ice. You give it a nice stir. And then you strain it into a rocks glass with a fresh, maybe block of ice. And you're going to squirt a little orange peel oil over it and drop that orange peel into the drink. And you get this bittersweet drink called the Negroni. And I'll be honest, I cheated a little bit and went with the sweetest sweet vermouth I could find. And it was still awful.
Which sweet vermouth was that, Matthew?
It was Coqui Vermouth di Torino, the Coqui Vermouth di Torino vermouth, which is chocolatey and sweet and does cut into the bitterness of the Campari enough to make it drinkable and maybe to some enjoyable. Like it's, but for me, it was okay. It was all right.
I really like that one. I hate Negronis. I did not come close to ever liking them on all the times that I have consumed them, but I do like this sweet vermouth.
Yeah, it's got a little raisiny sweetness in it. I like it. I like it a lot. And when I tasted it on its own with the Campari, it helps balance it out a little bit. But whew, oh man, I did finish my double. I am done. So Bob, that's what I'm drinking today, the dreaded Negroni.
I'm not gonna lie, that cocktail sucked.
I will say this: Matthew usually drinks his cocktails like quickly or normally. It took him a long time.
It did. I just finished the last sip like just a second ago there.
Oh, you millennials and your Negronis. I don't know how you do it. Kids.
I don't either.
I mean, you're all middle-aged now, so I don't know why I'm calling you kids, but...
And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Thursday with more Giants content. If you can't wait that long to get your fix, feel free to reach out to us on the social medias. You can find us all over, including Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky and other places under the username @GiantCocktails. Don't forget, you can also listen to us on YouTube where you can leave comments and hit that little bell to know when we've published. But best of all, you can leave us a positive review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That really does help the show. Ben, it was great talking Giants with you while I choked down my Negroni. Until next time, cheers, my friend.
Cheers, Matthew. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Giant Cocktails Podcast. Until next time, bottoms up.
I think this was pretty good for like an episode that nobody's going to listen to.
No one's listening to this. They're like, F the Giants. F the Giants. God damn it. Get your hopes up. Matthew says they're good, and then they suck it.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny too, because I thought, okay, let's try a little bit of clickbait with this title. No, people didn't click on it. They don't believe. They don't believe.
I don't blame them.
No.
I don't blame them one bit.
I don't either.
Come on, Giants. Come on, baby. Just be good. A little good. Good enough. Get us into the playoffs. Please.